my channel. My name is Sami. I'm 25 and I recently had bariatric surgery. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're old, welcome back. I had gastric bypass surgery on January 12th, 2021. Today is April 2nd, 2021. I started my weight loss journey on June 1st, 2020, and I am officially down 90 pounds as of this morning. My highest weight was 309, and this morning I weighed in at 219, which is amazing. And don't get me wrong, I'm so excited about it, but guess what? I'm gonna hit a stall. I'm about to be 3 months post-op. It kind of happens to everybody, and even though I went on vacation last week, I am kind of assuming that this is my stall. I'm overdue for one. I really didn't have one the first 3 months, and I've heard that that's abnormal and that you usually have like one couple days and here and there, and the only time I stalled would be right before I got my period, and then I would drop it off again right after. So I'm overdue for one. So fingers crossed that this is not it, but if it is, it's okay because I did make it to my 90 mark. And honestly, I'm so proud of where I am now. Not that I'm gonna give up anytime soon, but I am just so excited about the progress that I've made thus far that it's okay. So I did just say that I was away. I was on vacation. My family and I went to Walt Disney World. For those of you that don't know, I was a Disney cast member in 2017. I participated in the Disney College program, Spring 2017 program, and it was amazing. And Disney will forever be a part of my life, my home, my heart, everything. And I got to go back. Even prior to this, to me working there, my family and I had the vacation club. They're really my grandma's Disney vacation club, but we get to reap the benefits. So this trip was just my mom, my sister, my grandma, and myself. We are all following the school schedules, and this is New York's spring break. We are off for Easter and Passover, which is amazing. We love that. So we got to go to Walt Disney World from Friday, March 26th to Thursday, April 1st. We are all vaccinated, and Disney does have very strong safety protocols in place because of COVID. So that's just a little side note. However, I have again been going to Disney since I was like a year old, I think. Might even be more than that, less than that. And this was obviously the first time I've had to do a couple things a little differently. And so I wanted to fill you guys in on some of the things that I think helped me out and some of the things that maybe might help you out. So the very first thing, well, the two first things, one is something that you need to know about our trip, and the other thing is just something that I think will help you, is our trip, because we have been there so many times, this trip we really just used as a vacation. We laid mostly by the pool. We didn't really go into the parks. We did one day. You now have to have reservations to go into the parks, and we could only get a park reservation for Epcot one day, so we drank around the world, and then we then proceeded to go to Hollywood Studios. We did have dinner reservations almost every night. There was one night we did not have anything. However, my mom's friend did come and visit. She does live down there, and it's my mom's friend from high school, so we did just order from the quick service place. So with all of that being said, the first thing I will say that you will probably need if you're planning a trip to Disney World right after bariatric surgery is that you should definitely be traveling with somebody that knows what's going on with you. I don't think that I could go on this trip without my sister, my mom, and my grandma being as supportive as they were. And I say that knowing that I might be able to, but it would just make this trip that much more difficult. And I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if I was so like stressed about either like stressed in my own head, because don't get me wrong, I was still stressed, but even stressed about getting my protein in. It wasn't something I had to hide from people. It wasn't anything like that. In regards to getting enough liquids in, I needed to make sure I was doing that. And again, my mom, my sister, and my grandma, they all knew what was going on. And also in regards to eating, I ordered from the kids menu one time, I think. and I ordered appetizers mostly as my meals because I knew I wasn't going to eat them all. The only time I did order a full meal was actually at one restaurant, and my sister and I did decide to split it, and even that, we didn't come close to finishing it. So I definitely am not a part of the Clean Plate Club, although that still is kind of weird to me because even when I worked on portion control prior to having surgery, I still always cleared my plate. I did portion control by just using a smaller plate, and whatever fit on my plate and whatever I thought I should be eating, I was taking one of everything and it was still filling my plate. So my plate was still clean at the end of my dinner or my lunch or even my breakfast. Although I'm not a big breakfast person, so that doesn't really count for me. I really drink protein shakes for breakfast, and that's the same for this vacation. We did go out to breakfast one morning and I was able to get eggs, which I know don't hurt my stomach. So it actually was a big thumbs up for me. So go with people know. Go with people who know. And apps, portion, just keep in mind your portions. Know that you're not going to finish everything, and just know that you kind of are only going to eat a quarter of a cup of food or half a cup of food. Wherever you're at in your journey, you're not going to eat everything on your plate. So be okay with having leftovers, or be okay with just not finishing your plate and not taking the leftovers home. The other thing that I sort of mentioned, I mentioned part of it was protein shakes, is we did actually order from Instacart. This was something that my family and I have never had to do before. Even when I was living down there and my family would come to visit, maybe I would go food shopping, but really if I was on vacation, even if it was just moving from my apartment to a hotel room that was 10 minutes away, we still never had groceries delivered. It wasn't something that I wouldn't go food shopping before or anything like that. So Instacart getting delivered to our hotel the first night that we arrived there was something that was new to us and something that I actually really needed, and I think I'll continue to do. We had a couple of things delivered, but the main reason we did this was because of me needing protein shakes and me needing water. So I was able to pick up the Premier protein shakes and have them delivered along with, we then got hard seltzers for my sister and my mom to enjoy, some tea bags, coffee creamer, milk, things like that, that we would need for the rest of the week. I also got more water enhancers. For those of you that are new here and don't know, I currently have an aversion to plain water. It actually makes me throw up. It's not just like a gagging thing or like a bad stomach ache. It can actually make me throw up. So I do have to put some form of water enhancer or some just drops to go into my water, and no cucumber water, lemon water, that it's not strong enough. It still tastes like water and it still makes me throw up. So we were able to do that, which was great. Going along with the waters though, I will say one other lifesaver that we actually decided to bring this time was my Yeti, my sister's hydro flask, and anything else that can keep things cold. It was so extremely beneficial to us because I don't drink water that fast, and even though I do tend to have I do fill up my 26 ounce Yeti multiple times throughout the day, I drink about 104 ounces of water, give or take a few ounces. I don't drink quickly at all, and I know that we can't drink quickly. You can't take big gulps, you have to take little sips. So things like keeping your water bottle open like this is extremely beneficial. And water cups are not insulated when you go to Florida, and neither are regular water bottles. So having a reusable tumbler was actually, reusable thermos rather, was extremely beneficial. Another side note that people don't always know about in Disney World is that water is actually free. Now, I'm not talking about the Dasani water bottles that they sell in the parks or things like that, but water bottle from either a restaurant or water cups from a restaurant, or water from either a counter or like the Starbucks, any form of like quick service, water is free. Also at the bars of the pool, they are free. So this trip, my family and I like I said, did not really go into the parks. We only went into the parks one day. So having the ability to just go up and grab a cup of water filled with ice from the bar was extremely beneficial to me. I think if I was walking around the parks a little bit more, I definitely would have struggled. I did buy like 6 water bottles walking around the parks because I didn't have this. I think had I had this with me, I would have utilized the free water and I would have utilized the water fountains that Disney has. But again, we can't go back in time, and even though I had this with me, it wasn't something that I used all the time, but still, I would definitely recommend having one of these or something like it. I would also say make sure you pre-look at menus. This is something that I did run into as a mistake and as an issue. One night, my family and I did not have a dinner reservation. We were just going to order from the quick service restaurant, and that kind of backfired. It was the one night that I really got sick. I'm not really dumping too much anymore, knock on wood. I really just get a really bad stomach ache, but I never actually let myself get to the dumping like I was a couple months ago. And I do know what stuff usually makes me sick and what stuff doesn't. So we decided to order from the quick service at the Riviera Resort. That was where we were staying that night. And honestly, the menu was super limited because of COVID, and you had to order from the mobile app, which wasn't that great. Normally, when you go to Disney, you can make any sort of modifications that you might need at the register when discussing things with people. For example, switching something from regular bread to whole wheat bread is usually something they can do. But during COVID, you can't speak to a chef and you can't make modifications like that unless they're available on the app. And that night, the menu was kind of limited and there wasn't any way to modify any of the dinners that we had. So I actually struggled just a little bit too much, and I did get myself sick. I did try to have a croque monsieur. I was just gonna pick the cheese and the ham off, and it was a total shit show, if you will. I did also get tomato soup as a backup, and the tomato soup also made me sick. So it was really bad. So all in all, I need to make sure I check menus or have a backup in mind. I know we could have Uber Eats dinners or something like that, maybe even taken a ride to go get something somewhere else, but because we were staying on Disney property and we were kind of limited to what we had, we just decided to make do, and I don't know if that's something I can really do again. Now we know the Riviera's quick service isn't that great, but that's also just my opinion. The other thing I did want to talk to you about, and it's the last thing, is that it's actually super cool to have new walking places to go. I've now found a newfound love again for walking. So I don't love walking by myself. I do enjoy walking with somebody more often than walking by myself. I do find that if I walk by myself, sometimes my anxiety gets the best of me and then I start to like overthink things and things get crazy. But I was able to do it. So we stayed at 4 different hotels, resorts on property. The first was the Beach Club. The Beach Club is actually on the boardwalk. And if you walk the entire thing, it's a little less than a mile. So I started speed walking from my room. So I actually walked 2 miles because I walked around the boardwalk twice and walked back to my room and really walked. I got my heart rate up. I continued to walk. So I walked 2 miles around the boardwalk. The second resort we stayed at was the Riviera. That's the newer resort. It's actually on the Skyliner. And it actually has a walking path between the Riviera Resort as well as Caribbean Beach. So it's actually a little over a mile. So my sister and I actually walked it twice. So we actually walked 3 miles that day, which was super beneficial. And we did the same thing the next day. We walked 1 mile and then we went and spent the entire day in the parks. The third place we stayed was the Polynesian. If you don't know, Disney's Polynesian is actually on Seven Seas Lagoon, the third place we stayed was Grand Floridian. And the same thing, it's on Seven Seas Lagoon, and it is, I'm house sitting, and that's the dog. Please hold. I'm back. So the Grand Floridian is on Seven Seas Lagoon, which is where Magic Kingdom is. So you actually have the ability to walk all the way around from the Grand Floridian to the Magic Kingdom, from the Magic Kingdom to the Contemporary. You get on the monorail from the Contemporary and go to the Ticket and Transportation Center. Then you can get off at the Ticket and Transportation Center and you can go to the Polynesian. And then from the Polynesian to the Grand Floridian. So the day that we moved to the Grand Floridian was the day that we went to the parks. And then the day that we moved from the Grand Floridian to the Polynesian, we just walked there, which was actually really nice. The dog's back, hold on. All right, I'm back. So having places to walk that weren't places that I could walk all the time was actually really interesting to me. It kept me excited to do things, and it made things different. There's not that many new things that me as an ex-cast member and somebody who's been going there since they were a year or so old, there's not that many new things for me to do. However, this was something that was completely new. I mean, I've walked around the boardwalk before, but not to work out. So my sister and I brought workout pants. We worked out a couple days, and it was really, really nice. So find fun things that you can do. Disney does have gyms at most of the resorts, so it could be just going to the gym. I do have a bad knee, so I probably should have used the bike over walking, but walking is so pretty. It also was in the 90s when we were there, so if you got up early and walked, it was in the 70s, which really isn't that bad. And then the 2 days that we did walk, when it was like really hot and really sunny, it was actually kind of nice because right here, right now in New York, on Long Island, it is currently in the 40s again, so it's not exactly ideal. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's what it was like going to Disney during the pandemic. A little bit, I kind of said that with mobile ordering and stuff. And also going to Disney less than 3 months post-op. It was crazy. It was a lot. Again, go with people that you know go with people that know what you're going through, because if not, I don't know how well you'll do. That would stress me out. So I've gone on 2 vacations. One was a quick overnighter since my surgery, and both of them were with people that knew. So it was not a big deal, and it was something that I did not need to stress about. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, or anything else, please leave them down below. If you have anything you want to talk to me about, please message me on Instagram or TikTok. I don't ever post on TikTok, so I think I have 3 TikToks up there, so. And that's my cue. Thank you for following along on my journey to a simpler, happier life, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!